So Kathy Woods is saying that GM could go bankrupt in 5 years, and by looking at the recent performance, it's not looking so good. But is GM worth buying the stock and holding until 2030? Will they even be around by 2030? And should you invest in GM right now? Although you probably know the answer to that, let's dive in deep and see what's going on. Hey guys, welcome to Curious Pejjy, and I'm curious. I'm curious if GM, despite all the things going wrong with the company, if the $55 stock price is a good price to start a position now for the next 5-10 years and onwards. So as usual, after researching and putting a lot of hours in researching and making this prediction, I made a very understandable, easy to read chart and graph that predicts the stock every year up until 2030. Now before we get into it, just like always, there's a few disclaimers that you should know. Am I a financial advisor? No. Can you rely on this video in making the choice to buy GM or not? I would say yes, because all information, all stats and facts are from solid data, so nothing has been made up. Can you guys use this video as researching towards GM? I would say definitely yes, but I would still encourage you to do more research. Should you guys like this video, you guys should definitely smash the like button. It'll definitely help me out and help out the channel. And if you subscribe, will there be more videos like this? Oh hell yeah, man. I love making these videos. I mean, I love making analysis, doing stock prices. I love the stock market. So if there's a specific company that you guys want me to work on or look into, comment down below, and who knows, that might be the next video. So we all know General Motors. You probably drive one, your friends, your neighbors, your parents even, they all probably drive one. The car company holds Chevy, Buick, GMC, Cadillac, and can't forget about Nikola. Man, there's so many things that went wrong with that company, it's just too funny. There are other brands, but these four are the main ones, excluding Nikola. Now GM right now dominates about 17% of the US market alone, only down about 38% 19 years ago. Ouch. Since 2001, GM has been losing market share just over 0.5% every single year. I mean, if this was 5 years ago, it wouldn't be that. I mean, it's still bad, but it wouldn't be that bad. But now, it's really bad. GM is known for manufacturing cars in huge scale. As mentioned before, they're very common. You see them on the road all the time. But with their market share shrinking, will they be known for what they're known for? What I mean by that is that we're going to a whole new era. We're going to another revolution of cars, and that's going to be electric. We know that Tesla has a very, very strong grip in the EV market, and it's dominating big time right now, and will for the years to come. So it's safe to say that in the next 5, 10, 20, 30 years from now, electric vehicles are going to be more common on the road. Cars with oil engines, all that kind of stuff are going to be less common. So it's really important to see where GM's plans are for EVs in the future. And that's exactly what we need to talk about now. Well, to start off, they seem to be having the Chevy Bolt, and that's not going too well. With recalling all Chevy Bolts because they blow up and pausing the Bolt plant until further notice because they keep postponing it, it's quite hard to plan and predict how GM is going to do this. However, they are investing $35 billion into the EVs, and they did mention that by 2025 they will have 30 different EV models, which honestly, by 2025, that's just so far away, man. Tesla is gonna be far, far ahead of them, and these guys are gonna be left behind. By 2025, man, you need to start now, my boy. You need to make them models now, not by 2025. Tesla is going to be dominating by 2025. We'll get to that in a sec, but no, man, 2025 is just too far. And if you think that's bad, listen to this. GM says they plan to go all electric by 2035. Bruh, that's so late. 2035? You want to wait 14, 13 years to go full electric. No, man, you need to start now. You need to go electric now. You got all these companies. You got Tesla, you got Lucid, you got Rivian, you got all these car companies going crazy. Even Volkswagen is doing better than you guys. Why are you going to wait for 2035? Start today, start now. So far, it's not looking good for GM. Heck, even Ford is doing better than them. At least no blow-ups. But GM is in a very hard spot, and just like what Kathy Woods says, if they can't catch up fast enough, they could go bankrupt. It's a big but true statement. Honestly, it's a bit too late for GM and other car companies, because by 2023 and 2024, Tesla is going to be releasing the economy car, which is only going to be cost $25,000. Yeah, the cheapest Tesla ever. Right now, Tesla's cheapest model is the Model 3, which starts at $35,000. And even with that, they're taking incredible market share, especially GM's. Now just imagine, close your eyes and imagine, when Tesla releases a $25,000 electric car, the economy car, what do you think is going to happen? Just imagine how doomed the other car companies that are in the middle of developing a proper EV are going to be. If I were them, I would probably throw in the towel if I don't have a proper EV working by 2023. So GM is in trouble. They're losing market share, their EVs aren't going according to plan, and more consumers are preferring Tesla because it's a no-brainer to switch. It's brainless. And if you guys want an idea how much it costs to drive a Tesla on a daily basis, check out this video over here. It's absolutely crazy how much you save with a Tesla. Just check out the video and you'll see exactly what I mean. Alrighty, enough chit-chatting. Let's see what the prediction says. So I made two predictions. One is the best case scenario and the other one is the worst. Let's start off with the best case. Now with GM, their peak price in 2020 was about $45 and their current price right now is about 56 bucks. Total revenue in 2020 was about 123 billion and net income being 6.5 billion, with the shares outstanding being almost 1.5, with the EPS being almost $4.50, and a PE at that time was about 10. And with the stock price at that time being 45 bucks and a market cap being $65 billion. Now finding the forecasted and predicted sales and revenue for a company, the best place I found was simply Wall Street, but this time I'm a bit skeptical, but we will talk about that in the worst case scenario. Let's just see what simply Wall Street has to say about GM, and let's see what the best case is going to be. So I took what they predicted from 2021 to 2023 and I plugged it in here. It seems to be increasing slowly, gradually, but not anything significant. But we gotta figure out what's going to happen from 2024 and onwards. Obviously, no website or anyone does or thinks that far because no one knows what's going to happen, especially with GM. So we have to take this in our own hands, and this is what I did. I made a little chart here that tells you the difference and the percentage difference year over year for revenue and net income, and this is what we get. From 2022 to 2021, for revenue, there's about 4% increase, and then there's about a 19% increase and a 5% increase. And for net income, 2020 to 2021, there was a 50% increase, which is not that surprising because there is a shortage of chips and other inventory stuff that obviously increase the prices of everything. All the cars right now, everything when you go to grocery stores, containers, it's a mess right now. Inflation is crazy and everything is so costly. So until the supply chain relaxes a bit, all these companies are allowed to jack up their price because it's just how it works, supply and demand and all that kind of stuff. But from 2021 to 2022, it's about a 4% increase and then a 9% increase after. To me, I need more data. So what I did is that I went back to 2017 all the way to 2020 to see what the growth rate was for net income and revenue, and this is what I got. From 2017 to 2018 sales, there was a 1% increase and then a 148% increase for their profits. 2018 to 2019 was about a negative 7%, so they lost market share there, and a negative 16%, which is just crazy. And then from 2019 to 2020, there was a negative 11% increase in sales and a negative 4% in net income or profits, which is just absolutely crazy. They're losing market share as the years go by, which is absolutely very concerning. Overall, the sales seems to be reducing about 5% on an annual basis from 2017 to 2020, and there's a 43% increase in profits, that's because they were negative in 2017. But from 2018 onwards, they seem to be losing market share very steadily and consistently, which is very, very yikes. So by looking at all this data, I'm looking at simple Wall Street's future projections. I'm gonna say it's gonna be really optimistic that for revenue and for profits, they're gonna grow at 8%. Now hold on, don't bash me. This is the best case scenario, all right? This is the best case scenario, not the worst case, but the best case scenario. And once we plug that in, we can see by 2030, they're gonna have over 200 billion in sales and 16 billion, almost 16 billion in net income. Is that realistic? I'll let you decide. Now we gotta figure out the shares outstanding because shares outstanding is very important when it comes down to figuring out what the stock's going to be because it does play a role in it. The more supply you have with shares, the less the stock price is going to be. The less supply you have, the higher the stock is going to be. So by looking at GM's outstanding shares history, we can see that from 2011 all the way till now, we can see majority of the time they've been buying back shares, which is a good indicator. But that's when they were doing okay. They weren't in a decline. Now, since 2018 till now, they've been on a decline. So I think things will change. We can see that from 2019, they've been selling more shares, which means it'll increase the supply rather than buying back. And it seems to be spilling over to 2021, but it's been reducing. So to be exact, what I did was that from 2017 outstanding shares, I put it in a chart like you guys see here. and I want to figure out to see how much on an average basis they buy back or sell quarterly and on a yearly. It'll give us more of a stronger data. So on average quarterly, they seem to be buying back 0.2%, but we want to look at this on a yearly basis because our stock prediction is based on a yearly basis. And we get here about just over 1% of buybacks, which is actually not that bad. So I'm going to say for the best case scenario, they're going to buy back about 0.5%. yearly. And once you put that into the formula, we get 1.37 billion shares outstanding by 2030. EPS will follow. So by 2030, EPS is going to be over 11 bucks, which is crazy for GM with all their stuff because their margins are very slim. Margin when it comes down to GM, they're very slim. So seeing 11 bucks EPS is actually pretty darn amazing. And the 4 PE will be 4 by 2030, which isn't that much significant because GM doesn't really perform high in the PE. They're usually below 10. So now that we predicted the revenue, the net income, the shares outstanding, we can now find out what the stock price is going to be. But we need to know what to calculate the correct PE so we can drag it to 2030. So by looking at GM's PE, we can see that it's fairly stable. From like 2011 or 2012, we can see that it's been ranging between 3 all the way up to like 23 back in 2014, and then back down all the way to like 4, 3, and then back to 19. Then in 2018 went down to 41 because they lost a lot of revenue, they lost a lot of market share, and there was a negative return. So that's why it went up to 41. Then it went back down to 5, in the 5 ranges, then 6, then 2020 because of what happened, spiked to 24. Now it's back in the 7s and, you know, in that range. So I'm going to say that a PE of 8 is fair. I think it's more than fair. Comment down below if PE of 8 is fair for GM. Once you plug that into the formula, this is what we get. In 2021, the stock price should be 58 bucks, which is pretty much almost there right now. In 2022, it should be 57, so they seem to have a little bit of a dip there. And then in 2023, it should be 62. 2024 should be 66. 2025 should be 69. 2026 being 73, breaking the 100 billion market cap mark. 2027 should be 77. 2028 should be 81. 2029 should be 86. And 2030 should be $91 per share, with a market cap being 124 billion. And this is the chart of the best case scenario. Now, is this realistic? In my opinion, I don't think this is realistic. This is just being optimistic and the best case scenario in my opinion. Let's go see what the worst case scenario is going to be, and I have my reasons why what you're about to see is going to be a worst case scenario. Now, for the worst case scenario, I took a lot more things into account and a more realistic approach. This is what I mean. So I took the same rate was simply Wall Street said from 2021 to 2023. That was not changed. But what I did change in 2024 is that since Tesla is coming out with their economy car, and since right now they're so backlogged with orders that they can't fulfill demand. So obviously those guys that don't want to wait that long, they lean towards other car brands. But once Tesla can produce that many cars and will produce that many cars and deliver record numbers, which they will, I got a huge feeling that people want to prefer Tesla than GM, Ford, and other ones, because once the $25,000 economy car hits the market, shit's gonna hit the fan. I really do believe in 2024, when the $25,000 economy car is in full effect, GM will get crushed by 20%, both revenue and net income. The sales from 2023, which is 160 billion, will drop in 2024 to 128 billion, with the net income being 11 billion in 2023 to 8.8 billion in 2024. But that's not it. This is a ripple effect. This is not a one-year thing, because remember, they said by 2025, they're gonna have 30 different models. GM said by 2025, they'll have 30 different EV models, which is just kind of late, to be honest with you. And I think it's gonna continue. Now, I was more generous. I was more optimistic. I said they're gonna get crushed by 15%. So from 128 in 2024, they get crushed down to 109. And then from 8.8 net income to 7.5 billion in 2025, which is still significantly big. It's just crazy. And in my prediction, I think it's gonna keep moving downwards to 2026, about 10%. So it's gonna go to 98 billion and 6.8 billion and so on to 2027, but not as much, because I'm pretty sure the 30 models will take a little bit of a market share. I think they will have the 30, I mean, out of the 30 models, at least a couple of them should do really well. And that goes down for another 5% from 98 to 93 and 6.8 to 6.4. I believe in 2028, they will be stabilized. They will have some market share. And by 2029, I think they should see some growth a little bit by 2030. As you can see, it'll be 100 billion by 2030 and a 7 billion net income as well. Now, is this realistic as sales and revenue? I really don't know. This is all a prediction, guys. Don't take my word for it. This is what I think might happen. As mentioned before, Kathy Wood says that they could go bankrupt, or maybe another company will come and take over GM and accelerate their EVs. I really don't know what's going to happen, but this scenario seems to be a little realistic to me. Now, when it comes down to shares outstanding, instead of buying back 0.5% like we did in the best case scenario, in the worst case, I'm going to say they're going to dilute. They're going to sell more shares to increase money to invest back in EV. And I predicted here that every year they will sell 1% of outstanding shares every single year. And once we put that in, we get 1.6 billion shares outstanding by 2030, which from the best case scenario, it was 1.37. Now it's almost at 1.6. So there's a big difference. The EPS will follow as well, and instead of being over 11 bucks in the best case scenario, here we have $4.36. So literally less than what we started off in 2020, which is just terrible. The PE isn't going to move as much, staying around 10. All right, now let's go ahead and talk about the stock price. What's the stock price going to be? And this is what you all been waiting for. And again, the PE is going to stay at 8. I think it's fair. By 2021, it looks like it's going to be 57 bucks per share, and then 55 bucks per share in 2022, and then 60 bucks per share by 2023. Tesla releases the 25,000 economy car, order goes up, and GM takes a nosedive and goes down to $47 per share, with a $71 billion market cap. Then in 2025 goes to 40 bucks per share. Then 2026 goes to 35 per share. Then 2027 goes 33 per share. 2028, 33 per share. 2029, 34 per share. And by 2030, 35 per share. Honestly, it's going to be very scary when the economy Tesla comes out. It's going to be extremely scary for other car companies because it's going to be the cheapest model and it's going to compete with like all the brands, with Toyota, Nissan, GM, Ford, and it's going to be a no-brainer to switch to a Tesla. And if these guys don't have an EV, a proper EV that's cheap, that's effective and cool, I don't think they will stand a chance. Sorry, GM, but that's just what it is. And this is the stock price for the worst case scenario. As you guys can see, it's not going to the moon, and it's going down. I really hope they don't go out of business, because if they do go out of business, they have a lot of jobs, man. We don't want to see another recession going down. We don't want to see a lot of unemployment going up. I mean, we don't want to see that. I really hope GM finds something. I know they're stuck with Nikola bag right now, and I don't know what they're planning to do with it, but I really hope they figure out something, because man, if they go out of business, I'm just gonna feel bad for the guys who work for GM, because they're gonna be unemployed. And hopefully Tesla can do something and the other electric vehicle companies can do something, man. But GM, you're not in a good position right now. But remember, guys, this is only a prediction. You know, maybe GM makes a banger and continues going up in the best case scenario. Or maybe they'll file for bankruptcy sooner than we think. Or maybe they'll be acquired by another company. We really don't know what's going to happen in the future. But we do know that GM, if they don't gather their act, they are going to lose. They are not going to be existent for a very, very long time. So GM, pick up your balls, man. Go for it. Pick up the pace. Acknowledge Tesla and probably ask for help, because Elon Musk will help you. Now, I'm curious to know what you guys think. Comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Is the best case seems realistic? Worst case seems realistic? What do you guys' opinion? Because this is a very interesting topic to see where GM is going to be in the next 5-10 years. Now, I have quite a bit of concerns when it comes to GM. I think we all do. One of them being is that they are not fast enough. Although they're investing $35 billion into their EVs, it's so far not fast enough. They are also talking about going full electric by 2035, which is it's too far away, man. GM at the moment is producing about 7 million cars a year, and it's shrinking. Tesla, on the other hand, is estimated to produce 1.5 million cars in 2022. Literally a 50% to 100% increase, which is incredible. And the latest news of Hertz purchasing 100,000 Teslas, and NYPD considering switching all their police cars to Teslas, just takes more market share out of everyone even GMs. And we can see more of this happening as time goes on. GM is shrinking and Tesla is gaining. Another concern that I have with GM is their margins. It's extremely thin, like 5%. Tesla's margin is near 30%. If Tesla really wanted to, they can end GM once and for all, and there's nothing that they can do about it. I mean, other than cry to the government for another bailout, but why would the government bail them out when no one's gonna purchase their cars anymore? I honestly believe that if GM continues at this rate, they could potentially go bankrupt, just like what Kathy Wood said. Or they could be bought out by another EV company, but who wants to do that when they have Nikola? Right? So, in conclusion, should you buy GM stock? Well, I should ask you that. I'm definitely not going all in, and I think for once my money is safer in a savings account. Like for real. Long-term scope of GM is very, very, very uncertain. And so I would literally put my money in a savings account for once, or buy Tesla or other good companies that you know are going to grow and increase your wealth. GM right now is not in a really good place, and I really hope they can find a way to succeed. I don't want them to fail. I don't think even Tesla wants them to fail. But if they don't want to acknowledge it, if they don't want to acknowledge Tesla and other car brands as the market leader, it frustrates me how the CEO of GM says they're the market leader. They are not. Stop lying to yourself. But as soon as they can stop lying to themselves and, accept reality and ask for help from Tesla, I think GM will be here for the long term. But if they don't, rip. But that's the prediction of GM. Comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. And by the way, guys, have a happy new year. 2021 wasn't the greatest year of all. But 2022, we hope it's going to be a great year. I feel it in my bones. It's going to be a really great year. So I leave you with these 3 stock price predictions. And let's go to the moon together, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. And I shall see you guys in the next video. See ya.